It came as a complete shock to everyone when Taylor Swift and Joe Alwyn decided to end their relationship after spending so many years together. Fans and even those who were closest to them are now wondering how things came to an end between them and what actually occurred behind closed doors. Their relationship was always characterized by a sense of privacy, as evidenced by the fact that they had private dinners, celebrated holidays in a low-key manner, and had an unspoken understanding to keep their most private moments hidden from public view. The cracks started to show over time, but they were mostly hidden from public view. This was because both Taylor and Joe were navigating the pressures of fame as well as their own personal ambitions. When the breakup finally took place, it was a low-key and unassuming affair, a far cry from the dramatic headlines that frequently coincide with the end of celebrity relationships. For Joe, who had always been more comfortable living a life behind the scenes, the separation was experienced in a manner that was intensely personal. Those who knew him best were able to see that he was resisting the urge to simply move on. He was left with questions, as well as feelings that remained strong and he was unable to shake. It was his hope that a final conversation with Taylor, one that was open and honest, would help bring about peace and a sense of closure that would enable him to successfully move on with his life. However, the meeting never took place. Meanwhile, Taylor dealt with the situation in her own special way. As opposed to sitting down to rehash their relationship, she dove headfirst into her music, pouring every ounce of her heartbreak, confusion, and hope into the songwriting process. The studio turned into a safe haven for her. A journal of everything she was experiencing, her lyrics were a diary. A change in her was observed by her friends, specifically the manner in which she immersed herself in her work and sought solace in melodies and rhythms rather than engaging in challenging conversations. As she concentrated on her music, she relied on her most trusted self-assurance and made the decision to maintain her distance from Joe. She was under the impression that going back to the past would only slow down her healing process. Taylor also discovered that her heart was becoming more open to new opportunities. When she first met Travis Kelce, she felt an instant connection with him that was distinct from what she had experienced in the past. It was clear to anyone who was paying attention that they had chemistry, and it wasn't long before their growing connection became the topic of conversation among fans and the media alike. Taylor's public appearances together, which included things like cheering at football games and sharing laughs at restaurants, painted a picture of a new beginning for her. This new beginning was characterized by a sense of lightheartedness and fun that had been absent for a considerable amount of time. Not only did Travis bring a playful energy to the table, but he also supported Taylor's aspirations and seamlessly integrated himself into her world, while also providing her with a glimpse into his. Taylor's friends were relieved to see her happy again, and they encouraged her to concentrate on the present and the future rather than looking back. Their relationship grew stronger with each outing that they went on together. Joe, on the other hand, focused his efforts on acting, taking on new roles, and completely submerging himself in his work. On the outside, he remained as calm as he always was, speaking about the breakup only infrequently and avoiding the chaos that was being reported in the tabloids. In private, however, the breakup was a source of stress for him. In order to get a better understanding of what had occurred, he hoped to have the opportunity to wrap up any loose ends. On the other hand, Taylor had already made it abundantly clear that she did not wish to revisit our previous chapters. The decision that Taylor made was respected by friends on both sides. They witnessed how much she had matured and how she had discovered new sources of strength by moving forward rather than by reopening old wounds. They urged her to maintain her boundaries, bringing to her attention the significance of self-care and the need to avoid falling back into patterns that she had previously established. The news continued to be filled with rumors and speculation regarding Joe's efforts to find closure and Taylor's refusal to engage in conversation. On the other hand, Taylor maintained her resolve and channeled her emotions into music and new experiences. As the duration of Taylor's relationship with Travis increased, her level of contentment became more apparent. It was observed that she was laughing more, that she was stepping out with a newfound sense of self-assurance, and that she was connecting with her fans in ways that appeared to be more open and genuine than ever before. Rather than merely being a boyfriend, Travis evolved into a genuine partner. The kind of person who rejoiced in her victories, consoled her when she experienced failures, and made her feel secure. Taylor's inner circle noticed a change in her attitude toward their relationship because it felt different from anything else she had ever experienced. It was clear to them that she was embracing the present moment, allowing herself to be vulnerable and having faith in the future. Joe's journey was less dramatic, but it was just as significant. He relied on his friends, selected projects that pushed him to his limits, and made an effort to find his own peace. Despite the fact that he did not achieve the closure he had hoped for, Taylor's wishes were respected by him because he was aware that individuals heal in a variety of ways, and that searching for answers would not necessarily bring about relief. Joe continued to send her well wishes from a distance, even as the entire world watched Taylor and Travis's relationship flourish. Despite his gratitude for the years they spent together, he is eager to begin writing his own new stories. Taylor's refusal to meet with Joe was not motivated by resentment or spite on her part. The decision to preserve her own tranquility and proceed with her life was one that she made consciously. Through her songs, she had already expressed the anguish, the lessons, and the hope that came with letting go of the past. She had already poured her heart out. Fans felt a profound connection to her music, perceiving the sincerity that was present in her lyrics and the bravery that was required to be so forthright about the experience of heartbreak and beginning again. The relationship between Taylor and Travis captured the imagination of people all over the world, and as a result, many people found themselves rooting for this new chapter in her life. They shared a genuine connection that was characterized by warmth, laughter, and mutual respect for one another. Travis encouraged Taylor to pursue her goals, rejoiced in her achievements, and provided her with the freedom to be who she truly is. Not only did he become a steady presence in her social life, but he also became a part of her creative world. Frequently observed either behind the scenes or cheering her on from the sidelines, their love story was revealed, providing fans who had been following Taylor's journey through the highs and lows with a sense of optimism and excitement. Even though Joe's journey was less public, it was still significant. Through the process of taking time to reflect and finding new meaning in his work, he was able to learn how to move forward without the need for everything to be resolved. His close companions admired his unassuming fortitude. Because of the dignity with which he dealt with the dissolution of such a significant relationship, he developed in his own unique way. It is important to recognize that closure can sometimes come from within oneself rather than from another person. Friends were a significant factor in Taylor's recovery from her injury. She was constantly encouraged to concentrate on the things that brought her joy, to seek out new experiences, and to have faith in her own instincts. She appeared to be more present, engaged, and at ease when she was with Travis, and they noticed how much brighter she appeared to be. The goal was to prevent her from falling back into old stories that were no longer beneficial to her, so they wanted her to guard this newly discovered joy. Each and every public appearance was scrutinized by the media, and they continued to speculate about engagement rumors with Travis. They followed every twist and turn closely. However, Taylor managed to keep her attention on the things that were most important to her: her music, the people she loved, and the journey that lay ahead of her. You should subscribe to receive additional updates if you enjoy following Taylor's story. Over the course of several months, Taylor and Travis overcame the obstacles that came with being in the public eye, maintaining a healthy balance between their careers and developing their relationship as a couple. They built a foundation of trust and mutual admiration by attending events together, supporting each other's passions, and attending events together. The musical style of Taylor continued to develop. Her growth, her joys, and her struggles are all reflected in each album she has released. It was as if each song was a new chapter in her life, inviting her fans to connect with her, to share in her healing, and to rejoice alongside her. Throughout their time together, Travis became a constant presence, bringing Taylor a sense of both stability and adventure that she cherished. In addition to making new memories together, they went on adventures together and were not afraid to demonstrate to the world how much they cared for one another. Moving on was a process that Joe was still in the process of going through. The routines of daily life, the challenges of new acting roles, and the support of close friends were all sources of solace for him. He became adept at letting go of things that he was unable to alter and instead concentrated on constructing a future that was uniquely his own. Taylor's decision to not meet was respected by him. He acknowledged that she had a right to safeguard her own happiness, and he would ultimately wish her the best. The story of Taylor and Joe's breakup, which was initially about heartbreak, eventually became more about overcoming adversity. The capacity to confront challenging conclusions while maintaining a positive outlook. The choice that Taylor made to maintain her distance, to concentrate on her recovery, and to be open to experiencing something new inspired a great number of her fans. Through her actions, she demonstrated that it is possible to respect the past while simultaneously embracing the thrill of the unknown. The character of Travis came to represent what is to come. Joys, surprises, and the possibility of love after a loss are all things that are included. People looked up to Taylor and Travis as a couple, not because they were perfect, but because they were genuine. This was the reason why they became a couple like that. They were confronted with difficulties and had to deal with scrutiny, but they were still able to find happiness in one another. Everyone was reminded by their journey that even after the most difficult heartbreaks, new beginnings can bring joy that none of us could have anticipated. The journey that Joe took was equally significant. It served as a reminder that letting go is not always simple, but it is essential for personal development. He was able to discover his own inner calm, acquire new knowledge, and proceed with a quiet and unassuming strength. The intention behind Taylor's refusal to revisit the past was never to cause Joe any harm.